with those two first. Ms. Taylor, when did you get the last two checks?
Beginning of October.
For how much?
$136 apiece.
Why didn't you send them back to Mr. Sanderlin? There's not an answer.
Sorry. I just needed the money, so I cashed it. I felt he signed the birth certificate. You know, it was his obligation, I guess.
Is what you say to me actually the way your mind works?
No.
I just want to know. Is what you just said to me, the response that you knew he wasn't the father of your child, you knew that there was no order anymore, you knew that you were living with the father of your child, and yet you got two checks that you knew were sent to you in error, and you needed the money, so you cashed the checks and spent them. I want to know if that's the way your mind works.
That's how I was thinking.
Then you have enough children.
I know that.
Good. Don't make any more, because God forbid you make more, they'll have your mind. And we have enough people just with you that have your mind. That's dishonest.
It is.
So we're going to take care of this payment right off the bat, Mr. Sanderlin. I'm not finished with you yet because I don't think that you resorted to reasonable self-help. Now, how much money did you pay in total for this child that turned out not to be yours?
I don't have an exact figure.
Well, who's supposed to have a figure? Byrd?
No.
Me? You're supposed to have a figure.
I would say anywhere between the lines of $1,000 and $3,000.
Well, that's ridiculous, Mr. Sanderline. That's why you got yourself into all this trouble. Where did you think you were coming today? You're coming to court in order for a court to make a financial award to you to pay you back the money that you've paid for child support. So the least you could do is sit down and figure out how much you paid. Not somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000.
Or whatever it takes to take care of a child from the time of birth up to 3 months.
How many children do you have?
I have none, ma'am.
Sounds perfect to me so far. Money came out of your check. You had a garnishment on your salary. That's what you told me.
$272 between two deductions.
Is that the total amount that was taken out of your pay?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then what are you suing for $3,000 for?
For lawyer fees, it would have took a matter of 2 or 3 days in court to have everything cleared up if she had showed up to court.
Just a second. How much was your lawyer?
The first lawyer cost me, I have paperwork on this. This is the ledger from the lawyer stating everything that I paid. That was the first lawyer.
When was the first time you went into court with the lawyer?
I believe it was in April.
So what was this bill in 2004 for?
The bill in 2004?
Yeah.
I hired another lawyer to finish up the case because that lawyer there wanted another $1,000 to go back to court.
Sir, how many times have you been involved in court proceedings, not involving this child?
Maybe once or twice.
I want to see a bill for the lawyer. On this case, Mr. Sanderline. On this case, not your other problems. On this case.
This is it right here?
I don't believe it.
It has right at the top, Sanderlin versus Taylor.
2002.
It goes all the way down to 2004.
2002 is when you said you went to court. Let me see any communication from your lawyer, a letter, with regard to this case.
Your Honor, may I speak?
No. Now, Ms. Taylor, when Mr. Sanderline went into court, allegedly in 2002, did you go into court with him?
Yes, I did.
What did you say to the judge?
I told him that he wasn't the father, and I didn't want child support.
Were you receiving welfare?
No. I don't think at the time.
In the last 4 years, were you receiving welfare?
Yes, I went down and applied for insurance.
Were you receiving welfare?
Yes. Can I say something?
Uh-huh.
When they asked who the father was, they asked household members and who the father was. I never put down John. I always told them it was Daniel, and then I had a paternity test. I showed them the paternity test. I never said that it was John.
You didn't tell him that he was not the father when you met him, right?
Right.
And when he put his name on the birth certificate when the child was born in the hospital, you said, oh, she looks like you, or she looks like me, or she looks like your mother, or she looks like me. You didn't tell him that he wasn't the father, did you?
No.
That was dishonest, because what you say in your answer was very dishonest. You say he should have done the math, right?
Right.
I'm dying to hear what you have to say.
May I approach? Well, first off, me and Christina have been together since 2 months after when this baby was born.
I don't care.
Mr. Sanderline had nothing to do with her life or whatsoever.
Do you see my mouth moving?
I see her, yes, ma'am.
What do you have to contribute to this case?
The only thing I gotta say is Christina had nothing to do with the court proceedings. She told the judge she got the paternity test stating John Sanderlin was not the father. We proved to the court he wasn't, and that should have been that.
Listen
now,
to
any
me.
attorney's fees that he may have paid...
I'm speaking. Now, listen to me very carefully. Are you married?
No, ma'am.
Your girlfriend was dishonest because when she wasn't with you, she was looking for somebody else to nail for this child. If she wasn't, she would have told him right away that he wasn't the father of this child, and I guarantee you he wouldn't have put his name on the birth certificate. She was looking for somebody to pick up the slack because I don't know where you were, but you weren't together. That's number one. Number two, since you are now together, assume that you don't keep secrets from each other.
No.
That when she received these 2 checks in the amount of $136 that she told you about him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only part I feel
just
like
answer.
we've done wrong.
Just answer.
Yes, ma'am.
And you told her it was wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
And she did it anyway.
Yes, we both did it, not just her alone. We were in hard financial times at the time, and I disagreed at first, but in the end, we both did it together. It wasn't her decision.
I'm glad now I see. Do you have any children other than this one child?
Yes, a child, son Zach. Yeah. A son as well, yes.
You got enough children too. Sit down.
Oh.
It all started with a lie, Miss Taylor. Your lie. That's why he had all this trouble. Because if you had told him right from the get-go, listen, I love you, I want to be with you, but this child isn't yours. If you can open your heart up to a child that isn't yours, that's fine. Then he would have had a choice. He would have been able to say, listen, not my child, but I love you. I want to be able to be a family. If I choose to put my name on the birth certificate and accept that responsibility, that's my choice. You lied in 2002. You lied in 2001. You lied in 2005 when you took his check that you shouldn't have. Well, that says a great deal about your character. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
Parties are excused.
Annie Linares is suing her former friend, Jamil Rivera, for the remaining payments on a 2005 Nissan Altima.
Ms. Linares, you purchased a car. Shortly after you purchased the car, you realized you couldn't afford the car. Something happened with your job, I don't know. Mr. Rivera was a friend of yours. He had a very expensive car that he was renting, and so you worked out an agreement with him that he would take over the payments on your car and he would drive it. And within a period of time, a year or so, he would get a loan in his own name, put the car in his name, and you would be out of the debt that you had on the car. According to your complaint, Mr. Rivera paid for a while, then stopped paying, and the car was repossessed. You want the money that it will take to get the car back from the finance company.
That is correct.
Mr. Rivera says he was merely helping you out and you were going to lose the car anyway.
That is correct, Your
What
Honor.
kind of car is it?
It's a Nissan Altima 2005 Touring Series.
What were the monthly payments on the car?
$491.05.
How many payments did you make on the car?
I bought it in April. My first payment was in June, and I paid July and August and September.
And then Mr. Rivera took over.
That is correct.
What month did you take the car?
On July.
What month did you make your first payment?
On July.
She said she made 4 payments. She paid June, July, August, and September. She made 4 payments.
No, she didn't.
You have proof that you made 4 payments?
I made payments with my check for the car. The time he took the car was in September, and I recall it very well, Jamil, because my daughter's birthday was September 22nd.
Listen to me. Don't talk to him.
Okay.
Talk to me. Let's say you took the car in September. When did you stop making payments on the car?
Stop making payments around May.
Did you make all of the payments consistently? Because she has all the paperwork. So did you make all the payments consistently from September of 04, at least, until May of 05?
Yes, Your Honor. There were some of them were late.
How late?
A month.
Well, that's a lot late. That's not
correct,
late.
Your Honor.
Late is a day or 2 or maybe
Right.
a week. Late is
Correct.
not when you have to double up payments.
Correct.
You bring me proof that you made those payments?
No, I don't have the proofs right now because I was rushed to the airport.
What, are you kidding me? If you don't have proof, sir, it doesn't exist. What you do is when you know you're being sued, you gather up all your stuff and you don't go to court until you have it. When were you notified of your court appearance, sir?
Approximately 2 weeks ago.
So I'm going to repeat again, Mr. Rivera. If you don't have the proof that you paid from September 04 until May of 05, it doesn't exist. When did he stop making payments?
The last payment was made on May of 05 for $900. And the check of June and July bounced.
So when did you last have the car in your possession?
In November '05.
Well, if you last made a payment, according to you, in May of '05, what were you doing with the car in your possession in November of '05?
At that time, I did call the company, and I called the dealership as well.
I don't care if you called the king of pro. What were you doing with the car in your possession, sir, if you didn't make payments May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months? You had the car and didn't make a payment.
Go ahead, Jamil, explain to her.
Mr. Linares, if you talk out of turn again, I'm going to throw you out. You want me to do that?
No, ma'am.
Well, I will. I will. You did the wrong thing. Say, I was wrong, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't do the right thing to her because we had an agreement and I didn't follow through with my agreement, and there was no excuse for it, because if I couldn't afford the car, I should have returned it to her in May.
Well, she acknowledged that.
Listen to me. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. If I couldn't afford the car, I should have returned it to her in May.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's better. Now, how much they want now for
Well,
you to
they-
get the car back?
They want the 6 months that I
That's
owe.
$29.46.
They want the late fees, delinquency, and collection charges.
You have a paper from them? You driving another car now, Mr. Rivera?
At this point, yes.
What kind of car are you driving now?
It's just a Honda Passport.
Where'd you get it from?
It's just a car that I lent from a family member.
What kind of work do you do?
I work in a bank right now.
In a bank? Doing
Yes,
what?
ma'am. Financial advisor.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it a national bank?
Yes, ma'am.
There that you work in a bank, sir. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,700. Thank you. That's all.
Bodies are excused. You may step down.
17 Love says fellow schoolmate, 17-year-old Alex Kinsel, damaged her car when he jumped through the sunroof. Tiffany says Alex was attempting to assault her boyfriend.
Are you Miss Janikowski?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is your son?
Yes.
Whose name is
Alex Kinsel?
Alex?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Did you give him a good poke?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. I saw that. It was subtle, but he got it. I'm impressed. Alex,
Yes, ma'am.
I do want you to understand that this is going to be an unpleasant morning for you.
Okay.
Your mother is aware of that, but I'm sure that lately you've had a couple of unpleasant moments with your mother, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You weren't there,
No, ma'am.
and you weren't there.
No, ma'am.
So why don't you have a seat? You're just the question really of liability, and in your case, a question of ownership of the car that was allegedly damaged by Alex
Yes, ma'am.
when he decided to assault your boyfriend,
Yes, ma'am.
this young man, I assume?
Yes.
The only problem was your boyfriend was sitting in your car,
Yes.
and your car had a sunroof.
Yes.
So Alex, in order to get to,
Tyler.
climbed up on the,
I jumped into the sunroof. I didn't climb.
jumped from the pavement
Yes.
into the sunroof,
Yes, ma'am.
sort of like Spider-Man. Faster than a speeding bullet, right? Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
You're kind of mixing out
Is-
heroes, but that's it.
That's one of them.
Yeah,
Superman,
yeah.
Spider-Man, whatever. So you were able to do that, right?
Yes, ma'am. When you're mad and the adrenaline's rushing, sometimes you do things you don't expect you can do.
So now you want him to pay for the damage that he allegedly caused to your car, right? Alex says through his mother that he's very sorry for assaulting Tyler, which he freely admitted in juvenile court, and he was placed on probation.
Yes.
So he's paying for that crime, and he's sorry he did that, but he didn't damage the car
No, ma'am.
because, like Superman, he was able to bound from the sidewalk through the sunroof to get to Tyler without ever touching the car. Right? So now, Alex, what?
I'm sorry.
What?
Just picturing it.
I want you to, I tried to draw a word picture to you to get you interested in what's going
I'm
on.
very interested.
Good. So, why don't you tell me why you decided to assault Tyler?
Almost a year ago, my friend Kevin was killed, Kevin Farrell. And it was due to the fact that Tyler had robbed someone and placed the blame on Kevin.
A year before this happened,
Yes, ma'am.
who killed your friend?
Lee.
Was he ever apprehended for this murder?
He was apprehended and he got criminal confinement. and is still in courts right now, I believe,
Or was he convicted
of criminal confinement.
of criminal confinement? What is criminal confinement? I never heard of that.
When they hold them against their will in a car with weapons.
You know these people?
Unfortunately, yes.
What are they, all these gang people?
No.
Just criminals?
Yes.
Oh, you're terrific. Okay, so according to you, he's responsible for your friend's murder.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, my friend would still be alive right here now.
Okay, so that's why you were angry with him.
Yes.
Is that why you assaulted him?
That's one of the reasons. They also provoked me
How did they provoke you?
by flicking me off, saying stuff, parking right next to my car the day it happened.
You mean the day that this assault happened?
Yes.
So they parked next to your car. She parked next to your car?
Yes, and she told me that Tyler had hit her that day, and that angered me as well. And he's supposed to be out of school 10 minutes earlier than all the other students, so he's actually trespassing.
Step up here. Why is he supposed to be out 10 minutes earlier?
Because there's so many people after him for the reason what he did.
You have a special schedule at school, Tyler?
Yes, ma'am. For safety precautions, I leave 10 minutes early at the end of the day, and I come 10 minutes late every morning.
And he did not do that. So if he
So
would
for all of those reasons, you decided that you were going to assault him?
Yes.
Ma'am, a couple of weeks earlier, he had spit in my face at school also before all this had happened and
Did you
got
do
in
that?
trouble.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
It's his fault my friend's dead.
No.
Okay, so if you assaulted him a week or two before, why are you complaining about being flipped off?
It just angers me.
Are you seeing a psychiatrist?
No.
Do you think you should?
No, ma'am.
You should. He should be seeing a psychiatrist regularly. You understand that? You don't believe that? Step up with him, please. He should be in therapy. Intensive
I don't believe
therapy.
so, because once a person's been harassed off and on, a human being can only take so much.
Listen to
and
me.
He was at his breaking
Listen to me.
point.
Did you know that he spit in his face 2 weeks before?
No, I did not.
You see, somebody who's being harassed is usually frightened. So they stay away from the people who are harassing them or threatening them. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, but
Okay.
when they go to the same high school...
He is the aggressor. When he assaults him, he becomes the aggressor.
I understand.
And that has nothing to do with harassment. He told me that he spit at him 2 weeks before because he believes he's responsible for his friend's murder. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, but Tyler
Okay.
had also off and on since the incident has been harassing Alex.
Listen to me. I'm giving you a friendly word of advice from someone who has been in the juvenile justice system now for almost 30 years.
I know that.
If you don't get him involved in therapy, you're going to be visiting him every other Sunday, and you're going to have to go through a metal detector to do it. I want you to trust me on this. And if you don't, when you look back at your portfolio of photographs of this time in his life, 20 years from now, you're going to say, you know, wouldn't have hurt
No, it
if I
won't.
had him talk to somebody and get out all this anger.
Yes, ma'am.
Because his anger has to do with some event that happened a year ago that he
Yes,
hasn't
ma'am.
been able to get over. Can I see pictures of the car, please? I see a lot of damage to this car, Alex.
Yes.
Damage to this car that would suggest to me that you were not able to leap over and get onto the sunroof as you indicated you did.
Your Honor, I did not damage the car. I have a witness that was right there and saw the whole thing.
I'm prepared to hear the witness. You may have a seat. Step up.
And she had also...
Shh. Tell me your name.
Vicki Nofel.
Ms. Nofel, this happened at the school. What were you doing at the
I was
school?
picking up my daughter after school. My car was parked in front of the car that involved in
And
the
tell me
incident.
exactly what you saw.
He didn't actually climb on the car. He held onto where the door is and was in the sunroof. There was no hitting, kicking of the vehicle, and there had been damage to the car before. It
How
was,
do you know that, my dear?
well, my daughter goes to that school also,
Yes.
and Tiffany had stated to her that she had hit a deer and it had damaged the side of her car.
These are footprints. Deer don't have feet. And I cannot imagine, madam.
I understand.
I cannot imagine the kind of assault that he pled guilty to occurred without his feet touching the car if he's in the sunroof. Could you imagine that? It just doesn't make sense. It defies credulity that he can assault somebody with his fists while poised on top of a car, unless this is a toy car. Is it a toy car?
No.
Without his feet hitting the car. You understand that?
I understand.
Good. Now you can sit down.
Excuse me, Judge Judy.
Yes.
We do have a police report, and there's no mention of any damages in the police report.
I'd like to see the police report. This only has to do with the damage to this young man.
Well, I assume that it should have been in there.
No, it does refer to another number that you didn't get. Can I see an estimate, please, on the car? What year car is this?
A 97.
97 what?
Toyota Avalon.
Did you have it fixed?
We don't have the money to fix it.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
In court on March 26, 2005, with the juvenile hearing for the attack, Mrs. Borloff was asked if she had any estimates for the damages, and she had said no, she did not, that she just had the car fixed, and she wanted to be reimbursed.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you can step up.
Nope. And she said she had it fixed by Peterson's Garage in Michigan City.
Is that right? I mean, that's easy for me to call.
She's lying, Judge.
No,
She
I
did
brought
state
that estimate with me.
She did not have that estimate that day in court.
Are you telling me now that you did not have the car fixed?
No, ma'am.
Then why would she state that she did?
You have a copy of those minutes?
I asked for them
Do
at
you
our
have a
court.
copy of the
No,
minutes?
ma'am, I don't.
Oh, okay.
They said they were not available, otherwise I would have had them.
Okay. Whether she had the car fixed or she has the estimate, your son's got to pay for the damage. Stop making excuses for him.
I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to state the facts.
First, you tell me that your son caused no damage, because that's what he told you.
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
brought a witness to tell me that Superman didn't cause any damage when he assaulted Tyler. Then you tell me that it's all because she already had the car fixed, and all she wanted to do was be reimbursed. I'm telling you that you better start thinking about accepting total
I
responsibility
understand that.
for his bad behavior.
But he told me
should
there
not.
was no damages, so.
Well,
Your Honor,
what?
there were tons of people around the car. How I'm not on the side of the car or nothing, you know. I jump into the sunroof. I'm
Too
not
bad.
kicking the
Listen
car.
to me, Alex.
Yes.
Sometimes life isn't fair, my dear, and sometimes stand up on your own 2 feet and take your hands off the table. Sometimes the justice system is not as fair as you would like it to be if you're a criminal.
17-year-old Tiffany Borlov says fellow schoolmate, 17-year-old Alex Kinsel, damaged her car when he jumped through the sunroof. Tiffany says Alex was attempting to assault her boyfriend.
When you're a criminal and you commit certain acts of vandalism and you say, well, I did that, but I didn't do that. Of course, they're going to say, listen, I don't have time to figure this out. You jumped up on her car. Common sense suggests that when you jump up on a car and you assault somebody to the extent that you plead guilty to an assault, so it's a serious assault, and according to you, my adrenaline was flowing so that you're able to do things. That's what you told me. So I was able to do things. You never know what your strength is. I don't have to say to myself, well, maybe a deer caused one of these dents, and maybe you caused one of these dents. It's your fault. You're responsible. I can't find the deer. You're it. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,700. That's all.
Monica Roth says former friend Justin Judy backed her car into another vehicle. Justin claims it was a drunken Monica who was behind the wheel.
Ms. Roth, it is your claim that you were at a party, the defendant was at a party, he moved your car, he did so without asking you, and he dented it. The defendant says that it was you who were drunk, moved your own car, and dented it yourself. That's your defense, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was this party at your house?
Yes, it was, ma'am.
How many people did you have at the party?
20, 25.
How old are you?
I'm 20, going on 22, 21 right now.
Well, hopefully if I let you, you'll be 22. Right now you're 21. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you live with?
I live with my witness here and another person.
So you have 2 roommates?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm in construction.
What night of the week was this?
think it was a Friday night Friday night.
Okay. And did you know Miss Roth before your party?
Yes, I did.
All right, Miss Roth, were you present when the defendant got into your car?
No, I was not. I was inside.
Who was?
My witness, Tita, was in the car.
Tell me your name.
Tita Chewin.
Miss Chewin, did you know the defendant prior to this evening?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was there drinking at the party?
Yes.
Any drugs at the party?
No.
None that you saw?
Not that I saw.
But drinking?
Yes.
All right, tell me what happened with the car.
We went outside to...
Who's we?
The three of us. We went outside to grab CDs, and it was a summer night, so we had tank tops on and skirts, and we wanted to grab shirts to put over. So we went out to the car. She grabbed her CDs. I grabbed my shirt. I put it on. She went back inside the house, and she left the keys for me. So I was in the passenger seat getting ready to leave, and he claims the truck in front of him needed to be moved. So he hopped in, and I told him, Monica.
Okay. He said that the car that you were in had to be moved?
Yes.
Okay.
The car was on accessories, but the engine wasn't on. He started it and...
Don't speak!
He started it and slammed on the gas without even looking behind him. And before he started the car, I told him, Monica would not want you driving her car. It's brand new. She doesn't even let us drive her car. I've known her since elementary school. We're really close. And he just slammed on the gas without even looking behind him. And I told him, don't you want to look behind you? And next thing I know, there's a big crash. And he jumps out of the car.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he just jumped out.
Did he put the car in park and jump out? Did he turn it off?
He pulled it up really quick so she wouldn't know, and then jumped out of the car.
So first he went backwards.
Yep, and then he pulled it up.
So he changed gears?
Yes.
I just want you to go step by step with me. So let's go step by step. First, it was in reverse.
Yep, and he slammed on the gas, hit the car, was like startled, and then he pulled it up back to where she had been parked, so it looked like her car wasn't moved, and hopped out of the car really quick.
And didn't say anything to you?
No.
So what did you do?
I was in shock, and then she came in, ran up to the window because she was across the street.
Tell me your name.
Keely Hartman.
Ms. Hartman, did you witness this?
I just heard a crash. I didn't see it actually happen.
But you heard the sound?
I heard the sound.
Did you see the defendant?
I saw someone running away from the car, and that's when I ran over immediately because I saw it was Monica's car.
But you didn't see who it was?
I didn't.
Didn't see a face, or you didn't see whether it was a man, woman?
I saw a shadow running from the car.
Okay. Did the defendant say anything to you when you went back inside?
I peeked inside the window of the driver's side door, and I saw her in the passenger seat, and I looked and I saw nobody in the driver's seat, and I go, where's Monica? And Tita said she's in the house. That's when I looked over and I saw Justin crouching over by the bumper, and he said to me, don't tell her it's not a big deal, it's not even noticeable. And that's when I ran inside and grabbed Monica.
Okay, so he said to you, don't tell her it's not a big deal, it's not even noticeable.
Yes.
How long have you known the defendant?
A couple years.
Have had any problem with him?
No.
You like him?
Do I like him?
Yeah, I mean, like him as a person. He's okay, isn't he?
Yeah.
What about you?
Before this incident, I thought he was great.
Thought he was great. Never had any problem with him. Thank you. You can be seated.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's your turn. You do get a turn.
All those girls are lying.
Stop! Listen to me. Listen to me very, very carefully, sir. I make a judgment as to who's lying.
Okay.
You have the opportunity, if you wish, to explain to me your version of the events that evening.
Okay.
I assume you brought this gentleman because he has something to contribute to this case.
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Your name is?
James.
James, you have a last name.
Johnson.
How old are you?
22.
Do you have parents?
Yes.
Do they like you?
Sometimes.
I want you to think about them when making a decision to testify, James.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Okay. Let me hear.
Okay, in my defense. July 9th, we were having these girls showed up to my house intoxicated, had parked her car behind a truck of my friend's, asked her to move it, she moved it, backed into the car that was behind her, which was the black one.
And you saw all this?
Yeah, I was out in the street telling, everybody was about ready to leave, the whole part, you know.
And you saw all of this?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
Go ahead.
I was in the street talking to a bunch of friends, and you know, that happened, that transpired. And then she decided to leave belligerently, circle the block, and then come back, screaming, raving, whatever. She was intoxicated and all that stuff.
So you had a party at your house. Did you serve alcohol,
No,
or did the
not to
people
them.
bring out? Shh. Did you serve alcohol, or did the people bring alcohol?
They brought their own.
You just provided the site.
Yes, I just presided the area for people to party. But everybody at my house was 21 minus these 3 girls.
You mean I just happened to be fortunate enough to pick the 3 girls who were underage at your house?
Yes, ma'am. But they were intoxicated before they showed up to my house.
You want to speak?
Sure.
Who do you live with?
Justin, Judy, and another roommate.
So you lived together. And how long have you lived together?
For about a year and a half.
You know these three girls?
I know them from being at my house that night. I'd never even...
दोस्त बनवाने बेहतरीन बेहतरीन
कम दी 50 सारे फोन कटी बैठो वीडियो तो बनाओ अभी जो बना लिया कि फोन तो कटो